Hello, I am back and I'm going to continue reading in chapter 16. And I will be beginning on page 404. And it is just amazing the information in this book. But chapter 16 is entitled False Flags in Public Places and Fake Islamic Terrorism. Wow. The reading so far, it is still just mind-blowing. A lot of information to try and retain, and of course you can't retain it all, but you can always revisit it. But when you hear things in the news, and because you're reading this material, you know how it operates. You know, the same standout numbers are going to appear again and again and again in this coded, manufactured reality that we're all living out. The people who are not supposed to be in the know of what gematria truly is, or how they're truly using gematria against everyone on this planet. And the name of the book that I'm reading is called Letters and Numbers. Letters and Numbers is regarding gematria. Gematria is the encoding of numbers within our letters and words. Every word we speak has a numerical value. And the powers that shouldn't be use this alpha numeric code against us every single day and in mocking fashion. So I would encourage you, if you come across this channel, to please visit Zachary K. Hubbard's YouTube channels. He is the one who wrote the book Letters and Numbers. His YouTube channels are called Gematria Effect News or Gematria Effect Sports. And in the description of each of the videos that he produces, he leaves a link for you to purchase Letters and Numbers. Letters and Numbers cost $5. The best $5 you'll ever spend in your life, because the information contained in the book Letters and Numbers, in my opinion, and in yours too, I'm sure if you read the information, this information is just priceless. And I am so glad that I have come across this information. I'm so glad I know what it is and how it is being used. This book, Letters and Numbers, is a PDF file. So it will come to you via email once you purchase it, and you just make sure that you save the file to whichever device you're going to use to read the book, so you'll have access to it, you know, forever. Also, Zachary K. Hubbard left the copyright off this book, so you can take it to your local bindery and have it bound into a book for your own personal library. You can upload it to lulu.com also, and they will bind it into a book for you for a fee and mail it back to you. But having it in the electronic file format is great, because there's 773 pages in this book. And when you're searching for information within this book, having it in that format makes it so much easier to find information. So make sure you keep it as a PDF file as well. Zachary K. Hubbard also wrote a second book called Number Games, and I just got my copy, and I've been showing it in the past 3 videos. But this one is a paperback book. Zachary K. Hubbard, Number Games, another phenomenal book, and it is the ongoing information of the times we're living out right now. And I would suggest that you get this book as well, and you can obtain the book Number Games by visiting his blog page called gematriaeffectnews.blogspot.com. The first thing you'll see on that page is the advertising for the book. You scroll down, it has the information on how to purchase the book within the United States and abroad. So make sure you do that, and make sure you read the blogs as well on his page of gematriaeffectnews.blogspot.com. Visit his previous blog page, freetofindtruth.blogspot.com. He had been blogging there for over 5 years, so there's like, man, tons and tons of content there for you to read. And believe me, this information isn't something you have to believe in. These are fact-based entries you can prove it to yourself. And the code of gematria, you can use it every single day with things that come to you through whatever type of media, your TV, radio, news, sports, just whatever. It is done with this code. And I believe that once you delve into this work, once you start reading this book, and that's what I'm doing, reading it for those who really don't care for reading, but I hope it will prompt you to get this book and read it, because I believe when you read it yourself, you retain the information better, or you get a better understanding because you can reread it over and over, as well as listen to my videos of me reading the book, but still, just get the information, understand it, teach it to your children, learn it for yourself, and hopefully share it with people who have the eyes to see and the ears to hear what this stuff is doing, And I give all praises to the Most High that I have found this information, because, it is just mind-blowing and eye-opening as well. So, with that said, I am going to continue on page 454 in chapter 16, and this chapter is called, again, False Flags in Public Places and Fake Islamic Terrorism. Yes, and all of this stuff is orchestrated by this code. Oh my word, these people are playing God, but I'm sure he will rectify that when it's time. So, Texas Southern University shooting, October 9th, 2015. On this date, there would be 2 university shootings, one at Southern Texas and another at Northern Arizona. It was a fitting date for universities to be targeted. The date, 10/9/2015, you would add 10 plus 9 plus 20 plus 15 equates to 54. The word university equates to 54 in reduction. In this case, the shooter had the exact same name gematria as the location of the shooting. Darius, Darios Darius Tremaine Creighton Scott. Wow, and Texas University. So, be sure to notice the 33 coding in Creighton. So, Darius Tremaine Creighton Scott. Wow, and Texas University. So, Darius Tremaine Creighton Scott equates to 108 reduction cipher. Texas Southern University equates to 108 in reduction. The shooting reportedly took place at 11:30, not too far off from 113, injuring 1 and killing 1 more. Notice the post time from the local Houston police, 10:54 a.m., emphasis on the number 54. So, from the Houston police on Twitter, shooting was reported about 11:30 a.m. It does not involve an active shooter. And this was at 10:54 a.m., 9th of October, 2015. Okay. Northern Arizona University shooting, October 9th, 2015. On the same day the Texas Southern shooting transpired, came another at an equally as small university, this time in Flagstaff, Arizona. It was reported as the 144th shooting since Sandy Hook, a number that jumped out at you. That should jump out at you. That's right, absolutely. At the time of the shooting, President Obama was speaking at Roseburg, Oregon, about the events that had transpired earlier in the month. Let us examine the overlap between the title President Obama and the name Northern Arizona University, keeping in mind that the number 142 was coded on the Roseburg shooting. Northern Arizona University equates to 142 in reverse reduction. President Obama equates to 142 in ordinal. The shooting coming on October 9th or 10/9 synced with the school's motto, which is the difference that matters, as well as shooting have gematria of 109 as well. So, the difference that matters, that equates to 109 in reduction. As for Flagstaff, it has standout gematria of 33, 42, and 78, connecting to false flag and mass shooting respectively. Flagstaff, Arizona is even more interesting, summing to 322 and 58, numbers of masonry as follows. So, Flagstaff, Arizona equates to 322. Frank Baconis. 322, of course, is the number of skull and bones. Okay. Flagstaff, Arizona equates to 58, septenary. Tying in was the name of the shooter, Stephen Jones, summing to 58 and 113. Stephen Jones equated to 58 in reduction. Stephen Jones equates to 113, reverse reduction. E counted as 22. E counted as 22. On April 13th, 2016, 187 days after the shooting, a number not to be overlooked, a judge determined that Stephen Jones could return to his parents' house to live under house arrest until the start of his trial, April 4th, 2017, a fitting date for a shooting hoax. Recall how this was also reported as the 144th shooting since Sandy Hook, and how April 4th has ordinal gematria of 144, just like 44, written as words. Okay. Colorado Springs rampage of October 31st, 2015. In this incident, it is reported that the 33-year-old Noah Harpham, Harpham, Noah Harpham, went on a killing rampage in Colorado Springs, Colorado, 2 days after uploading an angry political rant on YouTube, October 29th, 2015, a date breaking down to numerology of 74, the number of killing. Oftentimes in these false flag events, the media will make a point to connect the idea that people who criticize the government are mentally unstable and potentially dangerous. It truly is disgusting, especially when you realize this is the same government and media that collaborate to needlessly scare people with false flag shootings and other manufactured tragedies. My gosh. As for the month of the rant and the shooting, again, October is the only month with reduction gematria of 33, corresponding with his age of the shooter in this case, and false flags. So I believe he meant to say corresponding with the age of the shooter in this case, and false flag. As for his name gematria, guess what it sums to? Noah Harpham equates to 58 in reduction. Noah Harpham equates to 33 septenary. Noah Harpham equates to 44 in Chaldean. I should mention the name Noah has ordinal gematria of 38 as well, corresponding with Colorado being the 38th state. This shooting also made the biggest splash in the headlines in the wake of the October 1st Oregon shooting, where Oregon and Colorado have reduction gematria of 38, emphasizing the coding of 38 as well as 74, was the reporting of 4 dead, which has gematria as follows. So the word four, F-O-U-R, equates to 24. Dead equates to 14. 4 dead equates to 38 in reduction. 4, F-O-U-R, equates to 60. The word dead equates to 14. 4 dead equates to 74 in the ordinal cipher. Also, following the same coding pattern was the reporting of him killing 2 women. The word 2, T-W-O, equates to 13. Women equates to 25. 2 women, 38. For a bit more, Noah Harfam, the reported killer, was said to have been born June 10th, 1982, celebrating his 33rd birthday a span of 144 days before the shooting, the number connecting to killer and time. In the end, Noah Harfam would be used as an example of why enhanced background checks are a necessity by politicians. The mainstream was flooded with stories and headlines as shown in the days after the shooting. And to be clear, this article says he killed 3, which contrasts with four dead because he was the 4th person to die. Okay, so let me read that headline really quickly here. Authorities say okay, this is from Colorado Springs, Colorado, okay? Excuse me. Authorities say a man who killed 3 people during a rampage in Colorado Springs was armed with 3 guns he purchased legally 6 years earlier. The El Paso County Sheriff's Office said Thursday that 33-year-old Noah Harfam had an AR-15 rifle, a 9mm pistol, and a .357 revolver when officers fatally shot him Saturday. Witnesses said he used the rifle to kill a bicyclist and 2 women who were on the porch of a sober living home before dying in a gun battle with police. Wow. So, to close, let us examine the gematria of Colorado Springs, Colorado, a ripe location for a story of needless, unprovoked killing and more made-for-TV theater. So, Colorado Springs equates to 77 in reduction. Noah Harfam equates to 77, reverse reduction. Colorado Springs, Colorado equates to 115 reduction. Colorado Springs, Colorado equates to 137, reverse reduction. P equates to 11. Colorado Springs, Colorado equates to 93 in Chaldean. Colorado Springs, Colorado equates to 75 in septenary. In the reporting of the shooting, the Colorado Springs Police Department would be represented by Lieutenant Catherine Buckley. As we decode, keep in mind that police officer and police department share gematria of 77 as well as secret society. Lieutenant LT Catherine, okay, so it's LT, Lieutenant is abbreviated. Lieutenant Catherine Buckley equates to 77 in reduction. Lieutenant Catherine Buckley would also command more TV time in the days ahead on Black Friday in another mass shooting. Wow. Paris, France. Bataclan attack of November 13, 2015. And I will spell this word. Bataclan. Paris, France, Bataclan attack of November 13, 2015. Okay, I'm going to read the headline here. Jewish owners recently sold Paris's Bataclan Theater where IS killed dozens, so I don't know if that's supposed to be ISIS or what, but it says ISIS. We're devastated because we knew everyone who worked there, says former owner Pascal Lalou. And that is spelled Lalous. His brother Joel, the co-owner, told Channel 2 that they sold the theater on September 11th, and he recently immigrated to Israel. He said he took a call from the theater at the time of the attack, and I could hear the gunfire. Yeah, right. Lying bastard. Shit. Okay. We'll begin with the slap in the face that was reported by the Times of Israel and other mainstream outlets at the time of this incident, where it was said that dozens of people were killed on the night of Friday, November 13th, 2015, at the Bataclan Theater. It was stated that it had recently been sold by its Jewish owners on September 11, 2015, which was 63 days before the attack, corresponding with the gematria of Paris and more. Let us not forget that Star of David and Orthodox have gematria of 119, or that Tisha B'Av sums to 911 either. In light of the theater being sold on the 14-year anniversary of September 11th, 2001. So, Paris equates to 63 in ordinal. The entire ordeal was coordinated with the release of the magazine and cover shown to the left from January 14, 2015, which I just read, by Charlie Hebdo, mocking Muslims. Oh no, maybe let's scratch that. But the entire ordeal was coordinated with the release of the magazine cover shown to the left from January 14, 2015 by Charlie Hebdo, mocking Muslims. Keep in mind, there are 114 chapters in the Quran, similar to the date 1/14. This release came 303 days before the Friday, November 13, 2015 shooting, a number significant to the Jesuit order, part of the Catholic Church, the same church that once waged the Crusades against Islam. Also keep in mind that in France, where this magazine cover was produced, it is illegal to criticize Zionism and carries a prison sentence. Yet at the same time, it is perfectly acceptable to openly mock Islam. Let us now examine the multiple ways the number 63 is coded into the same cover as shown. As we decode, don't forget that Rabbinic Judaism equates to 63 in reduction, the branch of the faith that goes by the Talmud, and this event was the work of the Talmud thumpers, who are the synagogue of Satan, who are the false Jews. And I'm going to show you this magazine cover by Charlie Hebdo. And that's it right there. Okay, so Charlie Hebdo equates to 63 in reduction. Charlie Hebdo equates to 63, reverse reduction. Tout est pardon, Pardonne, so Toutest Pardonne, tout est pardon, or pardon, I don't know, but it equates to 63 in reduction. Also encoded on the cover was the all too familiar number 58. Je suis Charlie, so Jesuis Charlie, Charlie, that equates to 58 in reduction. Okay. Out of the shooting came the campaign NOUS SOMMES, Paris. Nous sommes Paris, Paris, meaning we are Paris. Along with that came hashtag Porte Overte. So that's spelled Porteouverte. A campaign offering shelter for those impacted by the attacks, which in fact were only crisis actors in the massive hoax that was. So, Nous sommes Paris or Paris. Okay, NOUSSOMMESPARIS. That equates to 63 in reduction. Porte Overte equates to 63 in reduction. And again, that is spelled Porteouverte. And hashtag Porte Overte equates to 63 reverse reduction. In this event, there were multiple shootings targeting the Bataclan, local eateries, and nearby streets and alleyways. In total, it was the equivalent of a Hollywood film being made in real time in front of unknowing civilians who were not prepared for the planned theatrics. If you doubt this is the case, look at the images put out of the supposed deceased from the Bataclan. It couldn't look any more fake, and if it was a movie, you would be disappointed with the lack of realism. Oh my goodness. Shootings equates to 63 reduction. S equates to 10. Terrorism equates to 63 reverse reduction. Mass mind control equates to 63 in reduction. Deja vu equates to 63 in ordinal. Keep in mind the January 14th 2015 magazine cover was put out in response to the January 7th, 2015 shooting hoax in Paris, France, also blamed on ISIS-inspired Islamic radicals, which came exactly 311 days before the November 13th incident. It was truly pathetic that the media put out the video of those supposed killings on January 7, 2015, when anyone with a working pair of eyes could clearly see that nothing was real about the footage released. For starters, no shells exited the gun when it was shot, and second, no blood was shown coming from the persons who reportedly were shot at point blank range. It was very clearly a drill carried out by the police that was reported as an act of terrorism, which is something that happens often in the world of manufactured news by the numbers. Let us not forget the original definition of terrorism is government by intimidation, which is how the New World Order operates, and it is the police and military who are the minions of the New World Order. As for the date of the hoax, the word Quran has an ordinal gematria of 71, thus the date of January 7th. Wow. Thus the date of January 7th was right for a riddle targeting and demonizing the Islamic faith, which is exactly what it was. As for the date of the November 13th attack, it was the one leaving 48 days left in the year, the number corresponding with false flag, propaganda, and hoax. Also interesting, Paris is located on the 48th parallel north, making the date right for a Paris attack. In the end, they said the mastermind of the attack was, okay, try to get this one out, Abdelhamid Abaoud. So, Abdelhamid is spelled Abdelhamid. Abaoud is spelled Abaaoud. Born April 8, 1987, where April 8 can be expressed as 4/8. With regards to his birthday year, Muslim has ordinal gematria of 87, and according to the reports, police killed him in a raid on November 18, 2015, the 322nd day of the year, 224 days after his birthday. Recall, The divisors of the number 84 sum to 224, and his birthday can also be expressed as 8/4. Wow. Regarding to the number 224, it was the 224th year of the French Revolution calendar, which began its 224th year September 23rd, 2015, having been in operation since 1792. 1792, the year of let me just reread that. Regarding the number 224, it was the 224th year of the French Republican calendar, which began its 224th year September 23rd, 2015, having been in operation since 1792. Not by chance, in ordinal gematria, terrorist strike equates to 224. Adding insult to injury, a film debuted in Paris about Islamic terrorism, titled Made in France, which in Jewish gematria sums to 224 as well. As for its ordinal value, it equates to 93, corresponding with propaganda. Terrorist strike equates to 224 in ordinal. Made in France equates to 224 in Jewish gematria. As for the attack coming on Friday, the 13th, these is written at words, the title has ordinal gematria of 223, the reflection of 322, and being a highly Masonic number pointing directly to the synagogue of Satan. It is important to note that the superstition about Friday the 13th originates out of France, where King Philip had the Knights Templar, led by Jacques de Molay, arrested on the evening of Friday, November the 13th, 1307, and several of them burned at the stake. The primary reason for their arrest was desecration of the cross, among a number of other charges that were seen as crimes against humanity. In light of this taking place in the year 1307, it is no coincidence that Wikipedia, which is controlled by Freemasonry, has kept their death toll for the events of November 13, 2015 at 137, the 33rd prime, which also factors into France being the home of the plus 33 International Dialing Code, the highly Masonic nation that it is. On the subject of 33, the New York Times, established in history on a date with numerology of 33, put out a short film titled 33 Minutes of Terror, capturing the events that transpired between 9:20 p.m. and 9:53 p.m. the night of the reported attack. Don't overlook the starting and finishing minutes, where the number 20 connects to death and the number 53 connects to religion. Also, 920 is a bit like 92, where fear has Jewish gematria of 92. For one last point on this incident, 113 days after the November 13th attack, there were raids in Belgium, March 5th, 2016, which was the 65th day of the year, corresponding with the gematria of Knights Templar and Christianity. This was 17 days before the false flag that would then transpire in the same city, March 22nd or 22/3 like 223. Wow. Planned Parenthood, Colorado Springs shooting, November 27th, 2015. This shooting followed the last Colorado Springs shooting by a span of 28 days. As a reminder, kill has gematria of 28 and shooting has gematria of 107, which is the 28th prime number. At the time of this more recent shooting, the U.S. Congress was debating the funding of Planned Parenthood and gun control. So this story brought the two issues together at once. Shit. Let us now examine the gematria connection between Planned Parenthood and Colorado, while remembering that murder shares gematria of 83. So, Planned Parenthood equates to 83 in reduction. It was also a fitting date for a shooting in Colorado, having numerology of 38 and 53. So the date 11/27/15, you would add 11 plus 27 plus 15 equates to 53. Shooting equates to 53. Reduction, S counted as 10. So date 11/27, 11 plus 27 equates to 38. Planned Parenthood equates to 53. For one more of the number 38, they said the shooting began at 11:38 a.m. time, well, local time. In this case, they said the shooter was 57-year-old Robert Louis Dear, D-E-A-R, born in Charleston, North Carolina, April 16, 1958, the 107th day of the year in 58 because it was a leap year. As we know, shooting has gematria of 107. Further, his date of birth yields numerology of 97 and 43, corresponding with Civil War, and Charleston. The same city, the Civil War began on April 12, 1861. Consider in these events, a part of the agenda is to divide the people over their beliefs regarding gun ownership rights. As for Deer's birth numerology, it also yields a 78, corresponding with mass shooting. Not by surprise, the incident came 226 days after his 57th birthday and 142 days before his 58th birthday. His name gematria also factors in summing to 75 and 174, numbers that connect to New World Order as well as order out of chaos. Speaking of order out of chaos, let's take a second look at the gematria of Planned Parenthood. So, Planned Parenthood equates to 777 in Satanic, and order out of chaos equates to 777 Jewish gematria. So, picture to the left is Robert, a name summing to 33 in reduction, who they labeled as a religious extremist. His actions were regarded as domestic terrorism. Notice his wide eyes and wild hair. The way the media loves to dress up their shooters in these purposeful propaganda acts. Absolutely, it is. So he says, I am a warrior for the babies. Planned Parenthood shooting suspect interrupts hearing. Wow. You could say Robert was giving his best. His best James Egan Holmes impression. For good measure, let's decode CNN's emphasized headlines from the days after the shooting. I am a warrior for the babies. This is for I am a warrior for the babies. Okay. This is a statement Deer allegedly shouted in court December 9th, 2015. Keep in mind that date 12/9 is a lot like 129, which America sums to in Jewish gematria. Also notice the exclaimed phrase begins with I am, the important phrase to the Masons and Kabbalists as discussed in the 9/11 chapter. So, I am a warrior for the babies equates to 119 in reduction. I am a warrior for the babies equates to 187 in reduction. E counted as 22. The gematria of domestic terrorism is also familiar. What Deere was accused of. Domestic terrorism equates to 223 in ordinal. Domestic terrorism equates to 74 in septenary. Okay. Slain officer was ice dancing champion. Officer Swayze, like Patrick Swayze, I guess, 44, worked for the University of Colorado in Colorado Springs and was on campus 10 miles away when the shooting broke out. He went to the scene to support an officer, the school's chancellor said in a statement. Okay, so this was a news headline. Okay. Now back to the reading. In the end, it was reported that Robert Deere had killed 3 people and injured 8. 38. Of the 3 reported fatalities, one was said to be 44-year-old Officer Garrett Swayze. Remember, the word officer has gematria of 44. Notice CNN's reporting as shown, and I read that, but here we go. Garrett equates to 33 in reduction. Police equates to 33 in reduction. Swayze equates to 20 and 38 in reduction, and reduction S counted as 10. Garrett Swayze equals 53 and 71. As we know, shooting equates to 44 and 53. Absolutely. For one last point, in light of the death of the officer, Black Friday, the nicknamed shopping holiday that this event transpired on, has reduction gematria of 47, a value corresponding with the gematria of policeman, cop, authority, and government. Black Friday equates to 47 in reduction. All right. San Bernardino, ISIS-inspired attack, December 2nd, 2015. Wow. Let us begin with an amazing coincidence. This shooting took place precisely 114 days after the city of San Bernardino turned 146 years old, having been established August 10th, 1869, the 222nd day of the year. You might recall Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, who started this chain in San Bernardino, died on January 14, 1984. Emphasis on 1/14. 31 years earlier, where McDonald's has reduction gematria of 31. In light of the numbers 114 and 222, let us decode San Bernardino, California. So, San Bernardino, California equates to 114 in reduction. San Bernardino, California equates to 222 in ordinal. Okay. The coding of 114 is interesting because this shooting came in the time of the 114th U.S. Congress, which debated much on gun control, certainly more than any other in recent history. Following the pattern, at the same time the shooting was reportedly taking place, Los Angeles City Council was having a vote on the right of retired police officers to carry firearms with longer magazines. What stands out is that same vote went in favor of the officers being able to pack more ammo, 11-4. Not too far off from 114. Boy, I tell you. Notice the reporting from the Los Angeles Times. Consider further, LA is the home of the 213 area code, and shooting has gematria of 213, same as death. So I'm going to read this LA Times report. This is from December 2nd, 2015, 2:07 p.m. In a hotly contested move, Los Angeles lawmakers voted Wednesday to back an exemption that will allow some retired and reserve police officers to continue to possess firearm magazines firearm magazines that hold more than 10 rounds of ammunition, arguing that this would help protect the public from threats. The Los Angeles City Council voted 11-4 in favor of the exemptions to a citywide ban on such ammunition magazines passed earlier this year. Council members Mike Bonin, B-O-N-I-N, or Mike Bonin, Paul Cortez, Nuri Martinez, and David Ryu opposed the proposed exemptions. The debate pitted the Los Angeles Police Department and the police union, a politically muscular group that has been an important player in local elections, against some of the gun control activists who had championed the ban as a way to curb the carnage of mass shootings. Adding to the riddles in play, at the time of the San Bernardino shooting, there was also mainstream headlines about the killings of two Chicago teens by the city's police. Their names were Ronald Johnson and Laquan McDonald. Again, McDonald's, headquartered just outside of Chicago, opened their first restaurant in San Bernardino, as we discussed at the beginning of this chapter, with the San Ysidro massacre example, which occurred 187 days after the death of Ray Kroc on July 18th, or 18/7. The company also uses Ronald McDonald as its mascot. The stories about the dead teens were both stories that emerged out of the blue and were from a year earlier, supposedly. They came at the time when the media was peddling multiple stories about police officers killing unarmed black youth, which both of the stories of Ronald Johnson and Laquan McDonald played into. As per usual, the tactic was divide and conquer. Another riddle, separate from McDonald's and the birth of the city, involved Governor of California Jerry Brown, born April 7, 1938. The shooting came exactly 239 days after his 77th birthday. Of course, 239 is the 52nd prime, and California has gematria of 52, that big number to government and authority, as well as Kabbalah. While we're on the subject, let's examine Jerry Brown's nickname in gematria terms. So, Governor Moonbeam equates to 47 in septenary. Governor equates to 51. Moonbeam equates to 33. Governor Moonbeam, 84. When the shooting was first reported in the media, it was said that 3 athletic white males were responsible and at large. According to reports, they were dressed in all black. By day's end, the reported shooters had changed to a married Middle Eastern couple inspired by ISIS, a drastic change to say the least. Their names were reported as Sayed Rizwan Farouk and Tashfeen Malik, a phrase having reduction gematria of 146, just like the number of years old San Bernardino had turned earlier in the year. Let us decode their names independently to see what else stands out. You should notice parallels to San Bernardino, propaganda, parallels to the 84 McDonald's shooting, and more. So, Saeed Rizwan Farouk equates to 222 in reverse ordinal. Saeed Rizwan Farouk equates to 93, reduction S counted as 10, and Saeed Rizwan Farouk equates to 84 in reduction. And the way you spell this name, Saeed, S-Y-E-D, Rizwan, R-I-Z-W-A-N, Farouk, F-A-R-O-O-K. Now, Tashfeen Malik, Tashfeenmalik. So, Tashfeen Malik equates to 227 reverse ordinal. Tashfeen Malik equates to 119 reverse reduction. H counted as 10, E counted as 22. Tashfeen Malik equates to 74 reverse reduction. Tashfeen Malik equates to 52 in reduction. Tashfeen equates to 33. Wow. In light of the 119 coding, this incident was reported as the worst act of terrorism in the United States since September 11. At the time of its happening, it would be topped 193 days later, which we're getting to, in Orlando, where again 193 is the 44th prime. Also, in light of the encoding of 227, recall that is the 49th prime number, where the number 49 corresponds with Twin Towers, and in this case the date numerology of the incident, December 2nd, 2015. So 12/2/2015, you would add 12 plus 2 plus 20 plus 15 equates to 49. As for the ISIS blame, it connected to the date of this incident, December 2nd, 2015, was the 336th day of the year, and in Sumerian gematria, ISIS equates to 336 as follows. So, yeah, it just equates to 336 when you add up the numbers that correspond with the letters. Okay, and in this instance, I can do that. So I would be 54, S 115, and I 54, S 115, and I am assuming that would be in gematria. In Jewish gematria. I'm going to check that really quickly, and I will be right back to the reading. So give me 1 second. And oh, here we go. Come on. Select all, paste, and let me do all ciphers real quick. And just that quick. What was it, Jewish? I forgot what number I was looking for. Hang on. 336. So let me see what it equated to 336 in. 336 in English Sumerian. The English Sumerian cipher. Okay. So, at the time of the attack, the mainstream media reportedly showed a photo of the accused shooters at Chicago's O'Hare Airport. The purpose of this was to pay further tribute to the ritual taking place, which very much involved McDonald's again, headquartered just outside of Chicago in 187 land. As for O'Hare Airport, it has ordinal gematria of 144, a familiar number to killing. So O'Hare equates to 47. Airport equates to 97. O'Hare Airport 144 in the ordinal cipher. An interesting detail about O'Hare is that it officially opened October 30th, 1955, a date with numerology of 114, connecting back to San Bernardino and the shooting coming 114 days after the city's birthday. So the date 10/30/1955, you would add 10 plus 30 plus 19 plus 55 equates to 114. December 6th, 2015, 4 days after the shooting, the 44th President Barack Hussein Obama would go before the nation, declaring the tragedy to be an act of terrorism. Notice that date can be written as 12/6 or 6/12, 6/12. Okay. It is interesting to note that the next major act of terrorism would take place June 12, 2016, a date that can also be written 12/6 or 6/12. Again, from the San Bernardino shooting blamed on an ISIS-impaired couple to the Orlando shooting would be 193 days, the 44th prime number, bringing us back to shooting, kill, and even the 44th President Obama. Let us examine the numerology of the date that Obama addressed the false flag. So, the date 12/6/2015, you would add 12 plus 6 plus 20 plus 15 equates to 53. 12/6/15, you add 12 plus 6 plus 15, that equates to 53. Regarding the 53 coding of the date, let us not forget how the word religion connects. In this case, religion was front and center again, as the shooting was blamed on a Islamic couple who attacked a holiday work party that was for celebrating that was for the celebration of Christmas, according to the many mainstream reports. But really, who has a Christmas party 23 days before Christmas? Nobody. Consider that at the time of the shooting, and for much of the decade prior, the mainstream media had been running headlines about the war on Christmas, calling out retailers and mainstream society for moving away from the words Merry Christmas in favor of Happy Holidays. Oh my God. As for the work party, the mainstream reports said 80 people were attending the Christmas party when the attack happened. This is interesting considering the word tragedy has gematria of 80. The media also reported that 14 people were killed and another 24 injured, meaning 38 people were impacted. Let us not forget that the word dead has reduction gematria of 14. The name given to the incident by the mainstream also factored into the Christian coding, if you will. The name was the Inland Regional Center Attack, having reduction gematria of 121, matching Revelation, which also equates to 49 in reduction gematria, corresponding with the date numerology of the incident. I bring this up because when the Orlando shooting took place, 193 days later, it was reported that the lone gunman killed 49 people. As we know, that number also connects to the gematria of America, as well as Washington, where the federal legislators reside. Something else worth mentioning is that on November 30th, 2015, just 3 days before the shooting, local police had mass shooting drills at Victor Valley College. Well, the local police had a mass shooting drill at Victor Valley College. No doubt this was practice for the big media event just days ahead. So, Victor Valley College equates to 223 in ordinal. Synagogue of Satan, 223. Okay, I'm going to read this headline before I go any further, okay? So, this is from November 30th, 2015 at 4:46 p.m. Updated November 30th, 2015 at 4:47 p.m. 1 minute apart. Victorville. San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies unloaded guns drawn. Shouted, get down, get on the ground, as they cleared the Victor Valley College library on Monday morning during an active shooter exercise. Meanwhile, students with pretend injuries acted as victims of a campus shooting. Staff and students received advance notice of the drill, in which the VVC Police Department joined the County Sheriff's Department, Fire Department, and American Medical Response. Boy, these people. Gotcha. So, let us not overlook the 113 sequence in the date of the drill. November 30th or 11/30, a favorite of the Freemasons. Consider further that the shooting took place on December 2nd or 12/2, when Freemason equates to 122 in Francis Bacon gematria. In this shooting, one of the first witnesses of the tragedy that went before the media was a man in a baseball cap with a Freemason compass and square on it. Man, you know, the one. Oh, I thought my door was opening. Okay, let us not overlook the 113 sequence in the date of the drill, November 30th or 11:30, a favorite of the Freemasons. Consider further that the shooting took place on December 2nd or 12/2, when Freemason equates to 122 in Francis Bacon gematria. In this shooting, one of the first witnesses of the tragedy that went before the media was a man in a baseball cap with a Freemason compass and square on it. You know, the one with the instrument of geometry set at 47 degrees. In the shot below, notice how the details of Laquan McDonald are scrolling in the sub-headline at the same time he was shown on camera, giving his account of what transpired. Wow, and if you can see it, I'm going to let you see it, but it does say right under police FBI, you'll see Laquan McDonald. These are some sick bastards, but hopefully you can get a good look at that. And I don't know if you can make that out, but his hat with the compass on it. Really strange. But anyway, that is on page 414. It's just amazing. Man, I've been reading for an hour. This is a very long chapter. So, as you can see, the truth of what was really going on was being put right in front of everyone's face. Sadly, because most people aren't aware of the code or what is truly taking place in the United States of America, it went right over their collective heads, which is something that won't happen for too much longer as we, the truth seekers and speakers, make sure this book reaches the hands of every English-speaking person in the country and in the world. Because again, what is taking place in the United States is taking place elsewhere. 69 days after the shooting, February 9th, 2016, a date with numerology of 47, the FBI would bring up the detail that the FBI would bring up the detail that they were trying to hack the iPhones of the shooters but could not successfully achieve it. Thus, they wanted Apple, the computer company that priced their first consumer computer at $666 in 1984, to do it for them. Apple then refused, so the FBI said they were taking them to court. The court date would be set for March 22nd, 2016, a date that can be written 22/3, a lot like 223 for a Masonic and Synagogue of Satan. Man, I tell you, it was also a date coming 42 days after the FBI announced they couldn't crack the iPhone. February 9th. As it would happen, the court date would be canceled on March 21st when the FBI announced that they had figured out a way to hack the phones themselves just in time. That was the 80th day of the year, matching the 80 people at that tragic holiday work party. I suspect the real reason the court date was dropped was because they wanted the airwaves clear for their next planned hoax, which took place on March 22nd, 2016. That was the Belgium airport bombing, coming 223 weeks after the last terror attack in the same nation, and 15 weeks and 6 days after the San Bernardino incident, which we'll cover ahead. One last point. When the media was feeding the population these details of the uncheckable iPhones of the terrorists who transformed from 3 white males into a Middle Eastern married couple, they were showing them blurry images of the shooter as shown. Ask yourself, since when do iPhones take pictures like this? Better yet, since when do any cameras in the digital age take pictures with this bad of quality? The answer is only when you're a false flag terrorist in the media. And for one more kicker, admire the gematria of blurry. It equals 33, and I'm going to show you the picture, the blurry picture that was supposedly taken by an iPhone, and you can't make out who it is. And the word blurry equates to 33. Alrighty. So, let me see. Do I want to keep going or should I take a break? I guess I will keep going for a little bit here. So, this one will be the Istanbul, Turkey bombing, January 12th, 2016. On January 12th, or 1/12, emergency vehicles with 112 painted on the side of them would respond to the site of an ISIS suicide bombing. This incident came 13 weeks and 3 days after the October 10th, 2015 terror attack in Turkey blamed on ISIS, and 61 days before the March 13th, 2016 attack that would also be blamed on ISIS, meaning that from October 10th, 2015 attack to the March 13th, 2016 attack was a total span of 156 days, connecting to the gematria of false flag. As for the site of the January 12th, 2016 attack, it was outside of the Christian basilica known as the Hagia Sophia. So Hagia Sophia. So if I'm pronouncing Hagia or Hagia incorrectly, I'm sorry. But I'm going to say Hagia, maybe Hagia. Hagia Sophia equates to 58 in reduction. Hagia Sophia equates to 94 in ordinal. It had been exactly 94 days since the October 10th, 2015 incident. Now, okay, Jakarta, Indonesia, Starbucks bombing, January 14, 2016. This terror hoax amounted to free advertising by the numbers for one of the world's biggest drug dealers on the planet, Starbucks, the caffeine pusher man. We'll begin with the gematria of Starbucks, who was in the process of closing stores across the globe when this happened. Starbucks equates to 114 in ordinal. Indonesia equates to 114 LCH Kabbalah cipher. Starbucks equates to 51. Reduction S counted as 10. K counted as 11. 114, 2016. 1 plus 14 plus 20 plus 16 equates to 51. The Starbucks that was attacked was in the Sarina Shopping Center, summing to 113, and that is spelled Sarinah, Sarina Shopping Center, which equates to 113 in reduction. The word Sarina alone also yields gematria of 47 and 119, reminding of 9/11/2001. Serena also equates to, well, it's just showing it equates to 119 in the reverse ordinal, and Serena equates to 47 reverse reduction. If you go back and watch the news footage of this bombing, there is an electronic billboard outside of the store that is repeatedly playing the graphic of an explosion just before the bomb goes off. Of course, this was yet another layer to the mockery that was. Wow. Kalamazoo, Michigan, Uber driver shooting spree, February 20th, 2016. Reportedly, on Saturday, February 20th, 2016, an Uber driver in the city of Kalamazoo, Michigan, went on a killing rampage while also making his taxi rounds. As per usual, the date and location were ripe for a mass shooting. Let us begin by decoding the numerology of the date as well as Kalamazoo, Michigan. As we decode the location, keep in mind this shooting came on the 51st day of the year, and mass shooting has gematria of 51 as well as 78. It was propaganda by the numbers again. So, 2/20/2016, you have 2 plus 20 plus 20 plus 16 equates to 58. 2 plus 20 plus 16 equates to 38. Wow. Oops, go back. So Kalamazoo, Michigan equates to 78 in reduction. Kalamazoo, Michigan equates to 93 reverse reduction. And I'm going to read the headline right here. Kalamazoo, Michigan. A shooting rampage in Kalamazoo County that killed 6 people and injured 2 was the 42nd mass shooting in 2016. The Washington Post reported. Police say Jason Brian Dalton, 45, of Cooper Township. Police have said it appears Dalton picked his victims at random during the shooting spree and that the shootings were unprovoked. Okay. The media would report this was the 42nd mass shooting of 2016. On just the 51st day of the year. Fittingly, Kalamazoo is located on the 42nd parallel north, the Freemason favorite number that also corresponds with the gematria of false flag. Adding to the riddles was the given name of the shooter, Jason Brian Dalton, equating to 101, the 26th prime. Let us not forget the word assassin has gematria of 101, and in this case, Uber equaled 26. Jason Brian Dalton equates to 101 reverse reduction. Uber equates to 26 in reverse reduction. If you just take his first and last name, Brian Dalton, it has gematria of 44, same as Uber, which corresponds with shooting and kill. So, Jason Dalton equates to 44 in reduction, S counted as 10. Uber equates to 44 reduction, reverse reduction, E counted as 22. Even more, the name Jason has ordinal gematria of 59, and the title Uber driver, which he was called in reduction, sums to 59 also. Again, it is the number 59, corresponding with kill and killer, as well as Freemasonry. So, Jason equates to 59 in ordinal. Uber driver equates to 59 in reduction. In the end, Jason Dalton would be arrested at Shakespeare's Pub, having gematria of 58 to go with the date of the incident. So, Shakespeare's Pub equates to 58 in reduction. Taxi driver, like the movie, equates to 58 in reduction. Kalamazoo is on the 85th meridian west. and 85 is the reflection of 58. If you check out the film Taxi Driver, in the beginning you can hear a man yell out, "Take the cab to 58th Street." In that same film, the main character, played by Robert De Niro, drives a checkered cab and becomes a person obsessed with homicide and gunplay. In light of Checker Cab, they were built in Kalamazoo, Michigan historically. Consider the film is set in the time of a presidential election campaign, which is exactly what was taking place in the United States in 2016 when this story transpired. To close out with this riddle, in light of the arrest of in light of the arrest at Shakespeare's Pub, I'll leave you with this. Robert De Niro equates to 187, ALW Kabbalah. William Shakespeare equates to 187 in ordinal. Notice that the date of the headline below, August 13th or 13/8, where the name Donald Trump and the word federal have gematria of 38. So it says, Robert De Niro compares Donald Trump to Taxi Driver character. He's totally nuts. Yeah, right. I should also mention that in the end, Police Chief Jeff Hadley said there was no motive for the attack of February 20th, 2016, which was par for the course in these manufactured stories. So, Chief Jeff Hadley equates to 223 Frank Baconis. Chief Jeff Hadley equates to 113 in ordinal. Chief Jeff Hadley equates to 77 in reduction. No motive equates to 113 in ordinal. And no motive equates to 58 reverse reduction. E counted as 22. Wow. Excel Industries shooting, Heston, Kansas, February 25th, 2016. What jumps out right away about this incident is the name of the location of the attack, Excel Industries, which equates to 187 in ordinal. In this shooting, the police reportedly arrived at the scene of the mass shooting at 5:23 p.m. and instantly killed the shooter, who was reportedly born in 78. The detail about 523 was curious because just days earlier, CNN had made a point to report that the final Uber fare of Jason Dalton in the Kalamazoo shooting was $5.23. Let us not forget that May 23rd or 5/23 is the 143rd day of the year, corresponding with gematria of Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. And again, I want to emphasize the point that these stories often link to the next. In addition to the workplace name connected to the homicide code, the date was also fitting for a massacre, and so was the name of the shooter, Cedric Ford. As we decode the name of the shooter, notice how they stamped 33, 42, and 59 on his name, numbers of the ongoing race war coding, where in this case the shooter was said to be black. To date, all of the black males we've seen labeled as shooters in these incidents have had number 42 coded on them, and not coincidentally. So the date 2/25/2016, 2 plus 25 plus 20 plus 16 equates to 63. 2016 is the 63rd triangular number. 2, 25, 16, you do 2 plus 25 plus 16, that equals 43. The word Ford or the name Ford equates to 43 in ordinal. Massacre equates to 43. Reduction, S counted as 10. So, the word Cedric equates to 43 in ordinal. Cedric equates to 33 in reduction. Cedric Ford equates to 42, septenary cipher. Cedric Ford equates to 58 in reduction. Cedric Ford equates to 59 in reverse reduction. The motivation for the shooting was said to be Cedric Ford being served a protection abuse order from a woman he was dating who would go unnamed. In the mainstream below, it was said that the order was served at 3:33. Man, also keeping in mind that the mainstream often tries to present the image of black men being violent and abusive towards women, all part of the race war programming. So I'm going to read this headline here. The sheriff, when asked about a possible motive, said, well, I want to maybe make sure, was there another headline over here? Nope, there was none. Okay, so let me go back to this headline. Okay, the sheriff, when asked about a possible motive, said a deputy had served the shooter a protection from abuse order at Excel around 3:30 p.m. It was the second such order he had received after failing to show up in court, Walton said. Walton, at a news conference Friday morning, declined to detail who requested the protection order, saying the investigation was still in its early stages. According to the paperwork which was obtained by NBC News, a woman who filed the order February 5th told the court that she was in a relationship with him and they were living together, but he was moving out. And the headline also said he was just shooting indiscriminately. Okay, so the word order equates to 33. And 330. Race war equates to 33 in reduction. Cedric Ford equates to 137. Francis Bacon, which is the 33rd prime number. Adding to the riddles, the shooting came on the 56th day of the year, a number corresponding with gematria of president, and with it involving a black man in Kansas. One can only recall that the president at the time of the shooting, Barack Hussein Obama, supposedly had a mama from Kansas. Shit. Boy, I tell you. Adding to the riddles, the shooting came on the 56th day of the year, a number corresponding with the gematria of president, and with it involving a black man in Kansas. One can only recall that president at the time of the shooting was Barack Hussein Obama. So the man from Kansas supposedly had a mama from Kansas. Consider that Obama is also the 43rd person to become president, and Kansas, having reverse reduction gematria of 43, was the last state to join the Union, the 34th, before the start of the Civil War. Having gematria of 43, like Charleston, oh yes, where it began, and also corresponding with the date of the shooting, have a numerology of 43. Regarding civil wars, and to get to another riddle, those happen when people are divided, and they aren't too many more divisive issues than guns in America or race. One of the leaders of the pro-gun movement historically was the actor Charlton Heston, the spokesperson for the NRA, and NRA equates to 33, for a number of years. In his time as the face of the organization, he was known for showing up in towns after shooting incidents and angering those who were touched by the tragedies. Now, knowing how these shootings are manufactured, it was no doubt purposeful provocation. Not by coincidence, being a symbol for the nation, Heston would pass at age 84, matching the gematria of Heston, Kansas, where this shooting narrative by the numbers transpired. More specifically, he would die 184 days after his 84th birthday on April 5th, 2008, the 96th day of the year. Right for a Freemason like Heston himself. Let us now decode the location of the shooting, and then revisit the 84 connections to the President of the United States of America, Barack Hussein Obama. Okay, so Heston, Kansas equates to 84 in reduction. S counted as 10, K counted as 11. Obama equates to 84 in Jewish gematria. Divisors of 44 sum to 84. As a reminder, the president, number 44, was born on August 4th, or 8/4, pairing nicely with the Jewish gematria of his surname. What is interesting to note is that on May 23rd, 2016, remember the whole 523 thing, Obama would travel to Vietnam and end a weapons embargo against the nation that had been in place since 1984. Emphasis on 84. Vietnam also happens to be the home of the plus 84 International Dialing Code and has gematria of 84 as follows. Vietnam equates to 84. In other words, it was more riddles and narratives by the numbers in the same tired circles. Speaking of which, admire the headline shown. Wow. Cedric Larry Ford kills 3, injures 14 in Kansas shooting spree. 314, 3.14 pi, you motherfuckers. Oh man, it's just all the time, the same old shit. Speaking of which, admire the headline shown. 3 killed, 14 injured, like pi, 3.14. If you include the shooter, it was 14 injured and 4 killed, something like 144. This was likely pointing to the fact that May 23rd, 2016, the date of Obama's Vietnam trip, was going to be the 144th day of 2016, a leap year. On that same date, Obama would speak in Ho Chi Minh City, summing to 144 in ordinal gematria. Please take a moment to consider the hypocrisy. Here, Obama was crying at home about the dangers of weapons while opening up the floodgates for U.S. arms manufacturers to sell instruments of destruction to Vietnam, the nation we had needlessly gone to war with decades earlier. As part of the ongoing United States military empire that has been killing its own people and others since its inception, and doing it for profit, Profit. And with that, I will end my reading on page 420, and I will begin again tomorrow because it is late now here on the West Coast in Washington State. I hope you guys have a good night. I hope you guys will get this book, Letters and Numbers, and I hope you'll also order Zachary K. Hubbard's second book, Number Games. And you can order that book by visiting his blog page, gematriaeffectnews.blogspot.com. And the first thing you'll see when you get to that page is the advertising for this book, Number Games. And I know that light is up there, but this is the book. The book is awesome. Get the book. It's paperback. Um, as you scroll down on his blog page, the information on how to purchase the book is listed there. So it tells you how to purchase it here within the United States or abroad. Read the blogs on his page. Visit his other blog page, freetofindtruth.blogspot.com. He blogged there for over 5 years. Also on, let's see, on Monday nights, I believe, he has Gematria School. So if you become a Patreon on his channel for $1 a month, you have access to Gematria School, and also you have access to letters and numbers and number games via PDF file format by becoming a Patreon. And on Wednesday nights, he does TFR Live, and you can log on to TFR and look for Gematria Effect News by Zachary K. Hubbard. And actually on Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock this time, when you go on TFR, on the West Coast it's 6 o'clock, so you have to adjust the time wherever you live. So like if you're in New York, I would imagine that's 9 o'clock your time. But when you log on to TFR, you'll see his name listed as being live, Zachary K. Hubbard. And he also goes live on YouTube as well at the same time. So yes, follow his work. He also created a website called Free to Find Truth, and this is a free website to sign up on, and it is a way of meeting other people in the truth to discuss issues that you find important, or to read blogs, because people do post a lot of things there, and maybe you could get together and organize in some form of fashion, to try and get this word out. But yes, there's a lot of people trying to get this word out other than Zach, but everybody who's doing it has learned from Zach, and this is my way of trying to get the information out, is reading his book. And the book is just amazing. So I hope you guys have a good evening, and take care, and I will see you in the next reading. So good night.